Braden, I gotta tell you, man, I was doing some research this week. Did you know that at a PPA event, the top prize for doubles is $10,000? Sounds pretty nice, right? Did you know that if you're not a PPA Gold Card member, you're only taking home half of that amount?
What? What's up, everyone? Braden here, joined again with downtown Logan Brown. Logan,
What's
how
up?
are we?
Doing great, man. I mean, it's raining, but got to play last night. So as long as I got some pickleball in this week, I'm a happy man. How
Nice.
about
I
yourself?
played. I played last night too. It was close to 100 degrees. I'm not really reviewing any paddle right now, so I kind of had to pick of the litter of the paddles. I went.
Hope you
I
didn't
went
pick
with the
the runt.
Forza. Yeah, I went with the Forza. I went with the Mach 1 Forza. It was hot, and I played really well with it. Played
Okay.
some really good guys. Really happy with how I played, and it kind of got me thinking a little bit about paddle selection and like where you live regionally. And like if you live in like Florida or Texas or like Phoenix is going through that crazy hot wave right now,
Yeah.
or
It's
heat wave, hot wave.
125 there, probably.
Yeah, it's nuts. But if you live in these like crazy hot places, having a paddle with a little more pop or power like the Forza is going to feel like a control paddle somewhere else where it's a little cooler. And anyway, so I just think it's interesting that that's not brought up very often.
Yeah, why is that?
Of
What is it about the power paddle that feels like what's happening in the hot weather?
well,
Is
yeah,
it
well,
just more compression and stuff?
yeah, I mean the ball's softer. You just can't hit it as hard, and so a power paddle feels like a control paddle. But if I hit that Forza, in like an indoor location, it's going to feel a lot harder to control. It's going to come off faster.
Mm.
But region, I think, should play a role in what paddle you pick. If you live in Florida, you probably should get like an all core or a power type paddle, not a control paddle, because a control paddle is too soft. Anyways, just had that thought last night. I think where you live should be part of your decision making, just like weather and climate.
Interesting. What ball are you playing with primarily?
Normally the Dura, sometimes the Franklin.
Yeah, that seems to be like the. I mean, everyone around here, for whatever reason, a lot of the tournament players are all good with the Duras. Your typical, like the folks I join in with, the 3.5s and maybe 4.0s, who aren't playing as many tournaments, are still gravitating heavily towards the X40, the
Yeah, the
Franklin.
X40. I mean, it lasts a lot longer, so you get more bang for your buck. So I think that's a big draw to it. And I don't
Yeah.
mind playing with it. It doesn't crack nearly as quickly, so it's nice that way.
Maybe you can drop some balls next, so I don't have to spend $3 a ball or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
seriously, we need a ball sponsor in here. I
Please.
spend more money on balls and shoes than anything else. I mean, I get paddles for free, but if I were paying for paddles, I still think I'd pay more for balls and shoes than I would paddles.
No, I believe that. Yeah, I mean, I run through shoes too, especially in the summer. Um, but anyway, let's talk about gear for a second. So you just tried out the Forza from Valair. Um, Maybe give us a little like 30-second elevator pitch on why or what you felt differently in that paddle versus the original, and then I know you've got some hot topics around the Warrior and some other paddles, maybe.
Yeah, the Forza. So it's a solid paddle, but like it doesn't really have anything like unique about it. It's Volair's take on a thermoform. It plays very similar to like the 6-0 double black diamond if you've played that one. It's a great thermo, a really solid paddle, but it's not necessarily special or unique from others. But when you buy it, it comes with a paddle eraser, an extra grip, so you get a little more bang for your buck that way. But solid paddle, I really like it.
This is
I
the
thought it
Mach
was
1
nice.
though. The Mach 1.
The Mach 1 Forza,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is the one Julian's playing with now, Mr. Yandiamo.
Nice. And the
But
old
yeah,
one was just the edge foam.
no, it was just like a cold
Standard,
press
run of the mill.
standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was kind of it. I started writing the review for that one. I've been kind of off and on writing this review, but we'll publish that this next few days, I'm hoping. But yeah, there's that. I got a ton of paddles in the mail this week. Got them all sitting here. I got the new Selkirk Lab stuff, the 005 and the 6.
You gonna give us any
Haven't,
sneak peeks, or we
I
like
mean, these have been floating around. People have seen these. I haven't really hit them
yeah.
yet. These are just
Okay.
kind of sitting in my office. I got the new Alchemies from Vatic Pro. These are kind of cool looking. They're
Yeah,
a
I saw
little,
somebody with that on the court last night too.
yeah. Oh, They had one, yeah. They're shipping out now. So they have a couple. They have a 13.5, so a really skinny one, and then the 16 version. Carbon sent me their 13 millimeter of their 3X. I did a write up on the 16 millimeter of the 3X for Carbon.
Yeah.
Really liked it, but they sent me the 14, so I can
That's
expand
like
that
the
review a
super
little bit.
long face, right? It's like really skinny. Skinnier than normal, isn't it? The
It's,
3X?
no, it's just a shorter handle compared to their
Oh, okay, okay.
1X. It's very similar to your Filth. And then PCKL sent me, so they're doing
I
a
think they're out of
thermoform.
Atlanta. Yeah, yeah,
Are
okay.
they do a lot of advertising, so I've been seeing their stuff everywhere. So like, sure, send them to me. I've some people have asked me about it. I
Are you trying out their new carbon face? Because I saw they announced a carbon faced paddle.
Yeah, that's the one they sent me. It's a 13 millimeter, so super skinny. This will be the first 13 thermo I've tried.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
yeah, then I released a video earlier this week talking about or introducing twist weight as a new metric that people should consider when they're researching paddles. And so I did this big, and I also showed my new paddle database and how you can use that to find paddles. But the most requested paddle from that database that wasn't on there, or the most requested brand, was Rhombus.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't really played with their paddles much, and so I've been talking with their owner. His name's Dong. He was in China when I
Okay.
was emailing him. Apparently, I think he goes there a decent amount, but he's visiting family and working with doing like some R&D stuff there. He's like very vocal about his R&D process, so it's kind of fun to hear what he has always got working on. But he's sending me all of Rhombus's paddles so I can get the measurements for those, look at those added. But yeah, dude, a lot of paddles right now. It's kind of overwhelming. I probably won't do full reviews of all of these, but I'll at least get the measurements, dump them in the paddle database.
It's kind of
And then
fun to have a little quiver of arrows, though. Take out on the court.
it's so many. But it's actually kind of a struggle sometimes because like I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to improve, and
Right. If you're always
and
playing
when
with something
when
different,
you're
it's
playing with something different, it kind of like I think it hurts you more than helps you. Once you, my advice for people is like once you find a paddle you like just stick with it. Like
and
the
just
more you
dial it
play with
in.
it, just dial that one in. I think it hurts me to just switch paddles a bunch.
I mean, double black
Yeah.
diamond, like 6-0. So tell me, like, they sold out in 2 hours.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
dude,
people
this
are
was
people are
crazy.
clearly liking it, right?
But yeah, they released or they made their paddle available again earlier in the week. So they made like this big announcement, like did like a countdown. It's like, oh, they're gonna be available at this time on this day. This was for the DBD 16, so this is the one that everyone wants.
Okay, yeah.
So they made it available and sold out in 2 hours. I mean, I don't know how many he had on there. I imagine it was a few thousand, but
Wow.
just boom, just crazy, crazy fast. And anyways, it's like I have my affiliate relationship with them, and our phones were like, I forgot what it was like going live, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden the phone's like sell, 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 sell. I'm like, what's happening?
Oh, that is awesome. That's
So
great to hear. So
that
people
was
are
kind of
using
fun.
your code buying the restock.
Yeah, yeah. So there
Very
was,
cool.
I mean, I'm not afraid to talk numbers, but like, so I think it was close to 120 over the last few days
Yeah, that's just from
from
yours. So
affiliate
there's all
sales
these
just for
other
mine.
folks who are promoting
So
it plus themselves. It's
yeah, I mean, I'm just a small piece of the pie, and so I'm sure there were thousands of paddles. But
good for
yeah, it's
them.
that went crazy. Yeah, they're going nuts. No, yeah, I really like Dell and what they're doing. I think it's great. I know they got a ton of paddles in the works, so it'll be fun to see what they got coming up. But Diadem's got a new paddle coming out, so this will be the Warrior Edge V2.
Not the
Um,
green one, something different, or the green one you're talking about, like the lime green and black.
no,
Is
so that was the Warrior. So they have two versions. They have a Warrior and a
oh,
Warrior Edge. So they
okay.
released the V2 of the Warrior already. They released the V2 of the Icon earlier in the year. So now they're going to release the V2 of the Warrior Edge. So the Warrior Edge is their most popular paddle. So I'm actually
Okay.
really interested in this one. I was just talking with them today actually about it. I'm not allowed to share any information yet, but it's supposed to be released next week, and they're sending me one of those to check out. So that one I'm excited about. Diadem is I like their paddles and them in particular because they always do something a little different. A lot of brands just mimic what's hot, but
Yeah.
they always do something just a little bit different, and so I like that about them. And so like their paddles are actually truly unique compared to a lot of brands that are just kind of copy of what's hot and what else is out there. So they're very interested in that one. Yeah, other stuff that's going on in my world. Let's see. just signed up for Tournament of Champions. So this is a PPA
Ooh.
event in Utah. So it's Brigham City. It's about 4 hours from where I live. So I signed up for men's doubles,
Is that
playing
where you went to school?
5-0. No,
Oh, okay.
I went to school in Idaho. So this tournament's in Utah.
Okay.
But yeah, just signed up for men doubles. This is the first PPA event I've signed up for. I've attended and watched, but I've never signed up for a PPA event.
Yep.
And the fees, they're expensive, dude. So it was $90 just to sign up for the tournament, and then it's $40 per event. So I paid the 90 to sign up and the 40 for men's doubles. But if I want to do singles or mixed, it's gonna be another 40 for each event. And that's just like bare bones. Like as you're checking out, they're like, "Oh, we're running a special. If you want a shirt, it's gonna be another $25. If you want hats, another 25. If you want to buy insurance for your ticket, it's 20. Like they just have like
Oh
all
my
these add-ons
gosh.
in it.
Yeah. You
Uh,
want a Gatorade? $30.
yeah, Gatorade, $30. If you want to look at a pro, 10.
Yeah.
But it does come with like a grounds pass, which is kind of fun because I think so. A ground pass for a PPA event is $50 if you just want to go and just watch,
Yep.
and then I think it's $100 to be on like the championship courts if
Yep.
you want to. So it's tickets get up there a little bit, but yeah, I was surprised how much it costs. And if you go two and out, it's $65 a game if you just do the one event. So it could be pricey.
Math whiz. Doing the math.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
just
that is. I mean, that kind of brings us up to this like backdraw discussion that was going on. I mean, it's a couple weeks old now. Tyler Loong brought it back this week on Twitter to bring it up. But it sounds like I think you and I are on the same consensus here. Somebody call us out in the comments if we're wrong, but essentially the backdraw was eliminated from the PPA specifically regarding the main draw event. So you can still go through qualifiers. That has its own kind of pacing you do through that. If you win a certain number or you already have a certain number of points, I think you can skip certain places in the qualifiers. And then you make it to the main draw. If you make it to the main draw and you lose in the first round, you then make it to the back draw. However, if you were to lose at the second round of the main
so
draw, you're
win the
done.
first round, lose the second round,
If you
then
lose the second round, you're out.
you're
Yeah.
out. No backdraw.
But if you lost the first round of the main draw, you still get a back draw to play in. But I think that what everybody's kind of not up in arms, it's just a discussion right now. Like, does it matter that they're not playing for fifth place any longer, essentially? And I think a lot of the confusion comes around that new players won't get an opportunity to play. But I think the confusion lies in the idea that you would still have to get through qualies just to get to the main draw for this back draw thing to be to be present in your life.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So you still get games. Like it's not as bad as I think people made it sound at first
Right.
for those who lose in the first round. But I guess if you're like a tenured pro, like maybe Tyler Loong, where you do lose in the second round, but they don't care to play more games. Like they're already
I'm just not
there.
sure they do. I think that's why this was implemented because even when I went to the PPA in Charlotte, I remember sitting next to this woman, and of course, like, everybody who's at this event is very, very into pickleball. And she was asking me how to go watch Tyson and Jack play the next round. I said, I'm pretty sure they're not playing. She goes, what do you mean? How are they not playing? They lost, they're going to the back draw, right? And I was like, yeah, but I think they dropped out. Like they walked off. They were done. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah, that was not uncommon.
yeah, it's not uncommon. I think the pros are making their appearance fees. They're making sponsorship dollars. They have all the other events they're doing. Most are playing in all three, or at least two. So they got the next day to worry
But
about.
now that you mentioned that, it kind of sucks from the spectator's point of view. So like if I buy a grounds pass for $50, I want to watch Jack and Tyson play. Nor if there was a backdraw and if they were forced to play, then I'd get to watch them because they'd go off championship court, they'd go play on the normal courts, and I could watch them. But if they without the backdraw, as a spectator, getting like a grounds pass isn't as valuable. Like you don't get to watch your players that you want to watch play. Like you almost have to be on championship court. So
Yeah,
that's kind of a bummer that way. Like there's less games for the spectators to view.
yeah. There's definitely less games for the spectators to view, um, and I wonder if it also keeps spectators on championship court. Like if you're the
That's where they
PPA,
want
right?
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
they want the crowd full for
They want
their
the
video.
optics to look good. They want people there. They don't want you getting up and moving around to see like to chase your favorite player likely. Um, and the one event I went to, it was kind of a cluster. Like it was at Lifetime Fitness. It was indoor,
Yeah,
and they just had like a zillion courts inside this indoor facility. If I wanted to go watch, like for example, Callan Dawson and Deckel Bar are playing on a court, Zane and Pablo Tejas are playing on a court. To watch Pablo and Zane play, you had to stand in the same breezeway as everyone's walking behind
so
like
it was hard to watch them
a
anyways.
net. Yeah, you're not like you don't get any stands, no seat. I didn't really know if it was kosher to walk on the court because like the play like, you're playing next to amateurs too. Like Zane was playing
Right.
next to an amateur. It's just I don't know if you could walk on the court and kind of just hang out next to them. I didn't know it was kosher, so I stood like behind the curtain to watch, but it wasn't the most
Just peeking
ideal.
your head around.
It, what's going
Hey
on here?
guys, I want to
Hey,
watch.
good serve, high five.
Yeah, you could get really close to them. I attended the one in St. George, the PPA Red Rock, and like, you're right up there next to them,
Yeah,
which is kind of fun. That one did have like some seating in on the courts that like weren't the grandstand or like championship courts, so that was kind of nice that way. But yeah,
and that's outdoors, so maybe it was like
they had a little
I'm
more
assuming
space.
more
Yeah,
spread out, dedicated
yeah, and
pickleball courts.
indoor Lifetime, yeah, they're all just smushed.
Yeah, but very cool.
Is that how close do you live to that place?
That was Charlotte, so I'm like hour 45. And then I'm gonna go down to the MLP event, which is gonna be in I forgot
Oh,
what
sick,
city. Maybe
dude.
it's Peachtree Corners. Say again.
So that'll be way fun. I have not done an MLP event. That is on the bucket list.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'm hoping it all works out. I think it will. That's in September in Peachtree Corners, Georgia, which is right outside Atlanta. So, maybe 2 hours for me.
Yeah, that'd totally be worth it.
Hit that up.
Yeah,
Be cool.
it'll be fun. The This kind of leads me to some other stuff I saw on Reddit this week. There was a couple conversations related to what we're talking about. One was with the viewership of or like pickleball as a product on TV. Like, are people going to go attend? Are people going to watch? Uh, People attend these events. They watch.
Yep.
Like I don't think there's any question of are people willing to come, and they're obviously paying money. Like, it's expensive to go watch. It's a lot cheaper to go, to an NBA or an MLB game or something. Like, the seating isn't quite as good. I mean, like, every seat at these PPA events are good just because it's small, but
Yeah, you're kind of
but
intimate. Yeah.
people want to watch. Like, they want to go to these events. Like, it seems silly, but even when I'm like drilling in my local courts, or if I'm playing and the courts are full, like, I'm just this average 5-0 guy, and like, people will come watch us play. Like, I think it's funny that
Sure.
there's like two or three people that will just watch us play, and I think it's hilarious.
Everyone
And
draws to the next level, right? I mean, I think it happens in like basketball and stuff too, where you have a public court, people are playing 5-on-5, and when the great players show up, you're just like, whoa, dude! Like, even if it's not
yeah,
NBA or college caliber, they're way better than you, and you can recognize it and you want to see it.
yeah, and so there's definitely a draw there. It's a lot of people like say, "Oh, it doesn't translate to TV." I don't really have an opinion for that one. Do you? Like, do you think pickleball is a good product on TV?
I mean, here's my opinion on it. If you're not into pickleball, it's going to be very tough to pick up, in my opinion. I think you're just not going to understand the nuances of the game and the speed and how difficult it is when they're doing those hand battles, like what that really feels like in person.
Hmm.
Because I know for a fact that when I do it at a 3-5 or a 4-0 level, it's so different than at a 6-5 and a 7-0 level like Ben Johns. And I know that. So when I'm watching on TV, I get the difficulty level.
Uh-huh.
Um, but at the same token, or I guess on the other side of the coin, I saw what pickleball was 2 years ago. Like I remember tweeting out in 2021 or something. I said the PPA's got a problem here. They're doing these tournaments and no one's showing up. What are they going to do? I literally think I tweeted that out. You find it on Twitter somewhere. And I remember watching one of these tournaments. I feel like it was in California or something. And it was a Thursday. They were doing singles, but there was not a soul in the crowd. And now there are fans. Like today, even at the Beer City Open, there's fans in the crowd on singles day.
Yeah.
And by Saturday, it's a pretty solid group. And
Yeah,
it's
for the
growing.
mixed and gender doubles, it gets pretty full. Singles, the crowds seem to be a little thinner still, which is funny to me because I think singles is more impressive. Like
Yeah.
when you get the top singles players on the same court, like the athleticism and the shot making, I think is incredible, and like it's more impressive to me than doubles in a lot of cases. But singles at like the kind of the opening rounds, I don't think it's fun to watch. But when you get the best on the court, like I think singles is like an incredible display of athleticism. Like just when people like tout like tennis or like basketball, like oh we watch it because we like to see how athletic and how incredible these people are. But like to me, that's like what singles pickleball is.
Yeah.
It's it's pretty interesting, but that doesn't draw as many crowds. It's definitely the doubles
It's
that
also always on
brings people
Thursday.
in.
So I just wonder,
Is it the day of the week that they're
yeah,
also
is
paid
there,
less? Like singles is paid less, which is kind of funny. We were talking about this before we hopped on, but like the payouts for singles is lower than it is for doubles, which makes it less attractive as a pro player. Like
yep.
they're going to train doubles over singles. Um, but NLP kind of brings an interesting nuance to singles because you have to be good at singles. Like it's part of the considerations when you're getting drafted. Like if you can't hold your own or if you're not a threat on the singles court, it hurts. It
And I
hurts you a
think
little bit.
honestly, players like, I mean, hold me to it. Let's see what happens. I think some players, the back half of this PPA season that you typically didn't see in singles, might jump into the singles draw just to build their resume. Now they may not win a bunch of matches, but like what I heard today in the comments section of the PPA, or sorry, the Beer City Open, Jesse Irvin played singles today.
Yeah.
Not very typical,
No, you
but
never see that.
I wonder if it was a practice for Dream Breakers, and two, it's basically like building your almost like your backlog of content for yourself. So then we go to these next drafts, they have something to reference to say,
Yeah.
what does this person look like
They
playing
could do a scouting
singles?
report on it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
It's got to be like, why else would she do it? That was interesting. So she beat Judy Castillo. I saw like
and then lost to Tyra, but Tyra went to the championship and
fairly
won.
handedly. Yeah, she actually did pretty good, which is great for her. Like that puts her stock up.
And she played a great match against Tyra. Like she split games and then lost in the third, but it was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that's a great example of that. But then another discussion that I saw on Reddit, based off of the Denver Open, that kind of spun off from that event was like the dominance of Ben and Anna Lee. So this
Yeah.
topic has come up a few times in the pickle sphere, and it got a ton of comments, and a lot of people seem interested in this or think that having Ben and ALW win all the time is a bad thing for the sport. They're like, oh, it's boring to watch. Championship Sundays are the worst. Quarterfinals and semis are much more entertaining. Do you have a take on that?
Yeah, I mean, play two sides of the coin. Well, I mean, on one side, watching Matt and Lucy get their butts kicked this past weekend kind of sucked. I mean, like it wasn't even close. Like it was just so
Yeah,
bad. Like that's a little bit of a letdown when you're kind of excited for it. But this happens across a lot of major sports, and for today, I think the folks who are a little bit let down by this dominance, it will make the juice worth the squeeze when they go down. It will just make those moments so exciting, and you're going to be a part of history anytime or every time it happens.
people
So,
will tune in just to see if they lose. Almost is like what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, I think you and I talked about it before. It's just like I'm a big F1 racing fan too, and right now Max Verstappen is just leaps and bounds like better than everybody because of his car and his skill. And it like he's beating people by like upwards of 20 seconds in a race, which is insane. So you're watching kind of to see if he just happens to slip up, and you're also watching to see who are the incumbents, like who's going to take second, third. But there have been races where like things go wrong and he goes down, and when you're watching it and you see that in action, you're like, I'm right here witnessing it. This is crazy. It's cool. But if every week was Max is one, Max is three, Max is four, it doesn't make these big epic changes in
Stories and
direction. The
yeah,
stories don't like the storylines don't build. So I could see it getting a little like, great.
a little repetitive maybe for like the avid or like religious viewers.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how it gets boring. But I overall, like I think it's great for the sport to have this dominance. Like people are attracted to that. They want to watch greatness. Like I'm a big golfer, so you do the F1 thing. I do golf. Like golf came to prominence through Tiger Woods, through his
Mhm.
dominance. People tuned in to watch him beat the crap out of people in golf, and people are attracted to that and want to watch that. The knowing that we might talk about this, I looked up some stats or just some information on like some like the most viewed NBA and NFL like events, and
Okay.
all of them. So when you look at the NBA, like the most viewed finals or like the highest rated finals, it was during the Michael Jordan era and the Golden State era when Curry
Yeah.
and Durant were dominating. Like that, people watched, and that was during their dynasties. And NFL was the same thing. Like people tuned in to watch Tom Brady and New England just win, and those had like it draws eyeballs. So I think it's good for the sport. It's branding. So some people were arguing like, oh man, why does it have to be Ben? Like he's kind of boring. Like he's not exciting. Like you can't cheer for him as easily as someone that like a MacGuffin who's entertaining, and like so it's there's that. But I do think it's good for the sport overall to have that. And like you said, dude, like I think people will tune in just to watch if they lose. Like I watched the Alshon Ben Johns final, the singles final. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, Alshon beat Ben recently. Like I want to see Alshon beat him again. And then he just proceeds to get the biggest butt whooping I've ever seen. Did you watch that one?
Yeah. There was like memes on the internet. Apparently he was like crying
Oh
after.
yeah, dude,
He had
it's pretty
tears.
funny.
I
Yeah,
was
it gets
like,
beat like 11-1, 11-2 or something. And that is one thing that's super impressive about Ben. Like whenever he loses, like I don't I'd have to look at it, but like I don't think he's ever lost twice in a row to somebody. Like he goes and figures
I
them
doubt
out.
it. Him
And
and Anna Lee don't lose very much ever. So the one
but
thing I
like
think too that I wish, I don't know how you would do it. Like we don't have enough. I guess here's what I'm trying to get at. Ben does an insane amount of homework, I think, that's just happening
yeah,
behind the
that
scenes.
that's the rumor.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that we don't have in pickleball yet are the super dedicated beat writers and storytellers, like the broadcast journalists that would typically like break down what a team did against another team to say this is how they went about like zoning in on this one player who typically gets the wing in basketball. Well, they ended up cutting him off at the top of the key so he can never get to his placement. We don't
Uh-huh.
have somebody at that depth right now saying this is what Ben did to tear Christian Alshon down
Yeah,
to
yeah.
win this match. And
People.
that, I bet if they
Ben's
did,
the only one that knows.
Ben's the only one that knows. Yeah, exactly. Is
We need to become those people.
that going to be us?
That's gonna
I
be
think we
us.
really have to have a full time gig in this to do that, but we might be on top of our game if we can.
Well, do you think you would do well in a broadcast booth if
I
you
think
were
I
like
could.
if you were calling calling the day?
I don't know if I could do all day long, but if you gave me some, especially some key matchups that I kind of know some player stories or had some time to do my research, I think I'd go through there, write some fodder down, talk about what's happening on the court. I mean, listen, if Adam Stone, Rob Nunnery, Mish McMahon, any of you guys want to have me on, Dave Fleming, believe
Get
this,
downtown Logan Brown up
downtown
there.
Logan Brown in the booth. What's up? I even played with Dave Fleming's nephew uh, a month or so ago. Apparently, he's from Atlanta. So he's from Atlanta. Dave was actually going there for PPA Atlanta, and I met him. He goes to Clemson or went to Clemson, and he was down playing at our local courts. And he was like, I told him I had a podcast, and he was like, "Man, my uncle's David Fleming." I was like, "I know who that is," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to go see him next weekend. We're going to the PPA together, staying at my house, my parents' house." I was like, that's really cool in a small
That is
world.
cool. Did you beat him?
We played together, played together, played
Oh, you
together,
played together.
doubles.
Did
Yeah.
you guys win then?
Oh yeah, yeah. We did really well.
Good. Good job,
Yeah,
Logan. Awesome. Well,
we'll get out
there's a
there.
ton of other news that happened this week. Give us the download of what's circling around.
Yeah, I mean, let's kick it off. So, all right, Pickleball Slam 2.0. If everybody remembers, the pickleball slam that happened this past year, like Andy Roddick, John McEnroe, Andre Agassi took the court. ESPN. They had a really cool court setup. I couldn't tell how many fans were there. They did a great job of like
Yeah, it was like that
blacking out the
black and
stands.
yeah, but like the court was like black and gray. It was like this mysterious
Yeah, it
place.
was cool. But I think so this time, I think that was in Vegas too. They're going to do this again. So February in Vegas. The cool thing this time is that it's all tennis players and it's a mix between male and female. So we've got John McEnroe, Andre
Well, the
Agassi.
first time was all tennis players. Like that's not new.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was all tennis players. But who was the guy that didn't? He wasn't as popular. He was like an '80s tennis player. He was pretty
I
popular in
mean,
the
he
'80s.
was big. What was his name? The
He was that big, right? Right.
not Roddick guy. Well, I don't follow tennis like crazy, but I like read about him. I was like, oh wow, this guy.
All right, but
It's
you're
like
going to know these names. So John McEnroe, Andre Agassi, Stephanie Graf, Maria Sharapova. Those ring a bell?
yes,
All right.
yes.
They're taking the court. You're not going to be like, who is it again? You're going to know. You're
I
going
can
to know.
remember. But
Yeah.
I love they're doing the mix thing. Did you watch the first one? It was actually really
Yeah.
entertaining.
I liked it. I thought they did a good
Mac,
job. And I think if you put Andy Roddick, I think he's kind of like a James Blake. Did you watch the exhibition MLP that he played?
oh no, who
But
was
during the last super finals thing, like the MLP, the last event, they did a draft for all the non-players that are involved in MLP. So the owners and the
Oh,
broadcasters
how did
all
I
ended up.
miss this? This is like all new to me. Anyways, keep going.
It was kind of in the news. It was fun in the news, less fun on TV because the broadcasters were playing. So there was no broadcasting. They just put a camera on the court and you couldn't really tell what was going on. And I didn't know who was who, except for James Blake, who played really well, by the way. But Andy Roddick, I think, has a lot of potential, and that'd be really cool to see him. I don't think he ever will because he's really kind of against pickleball to an extent, but he's talked out about it a bit,
Sure.
down upon it.
Yeah,
But
he had decent game.
yeah, a
I
decent
was
game.
impressed with Agassi. He could play. It looked like McEnroe was like the first time he ever played, and he just kind of like got better with each point. He was very entertaining. I
But the fact that he's in it again makes me think because he was really
It's
against
great.
pickleball
Yeah,
too. The fact that he's doing it again makes me feel like he might have some interest here.
yeah, maybe he's doing. I saw also today, as you know, scrolling as one does,
Yep.
that McEnroe is doing like a different pickleball event with Drew Brees. So he's
Down
doing.
there in New Orleans.
I don't know where. I just saw Drew talking, and he said McEnroe's name.
Nice. They're
But
doing
yeah,
a
yeah,
charity event in New Orleans, I think in
he's
August, September, something like that.
he's getting involved with more pickleball stuff, which is kind of fun to see. But he's an entertaining dude.
Yeah, he's something. But yeah, that's exciting. So come February, I'm excited to see what happens there.
It was Sharapova
Maria
and then
Sharapova and Stephanie Graf.
Stephanie
And
Graf.
somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost positive Stephanie Graf is married to Andre Agassi.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
So
married. Sharapova, does she? I mean, obviously she's played, or like, did she got game? I've never really heard anything about her stuff.
no idea. But she
That
was
would
like
be
on top of the
interesting.
women's game for so long that like I imagine that she'll practice a little bit. I mean, I remember before the last event, Matt McNasty, Ryan Sherry, those guys were hired by these former tennis pros to like help them train.
To trade for it, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
a big broadcast. Like, I would imagine that they want to like look competent out there. So,
and I think it's a big charity event. You know, it's $1 million purse, but I think they're just giving it away to charity.
right,
So I think they kind of want to. They don't want to be a joke out there. They want to
right.
compete and have fun
Well,
with
cool.
it.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. What else? What else we got?
Yeah. So your favorite rap star Drake and Michael B. Jordan just invested in the Brooklyn Aces.
Michael B.
My only
Jordan.
little tidbit here.
Is that the Masks guy? The sing.
What was he in?
Wait, I don't know. Who's Michael B. Jordan?
I'm trying to think of a movie you would know right out of the gate for Michael B. Jordan. He's really famous, but I don't watch a lot of his movies. Let me give you one.
I'm
Oh,
googling right now.
Creed, Wakanda
Oh,
Forever.
that dude. Yeah.
Creed, I guess, is his biggest movie. But there was something he was in as a young. Oh, dude, this one for anybody watching that knows this movie, he was Kobe, not Kobe. He was what was his character? You ever seen Hardball with Keanu Reeves?
No, I'm looking it up.
Oh my gosh. Hardball is a great movie about a group of kids that are in like inner city kids who are trying to play in a baseball league, staying out of crime, and Keanu Reeves is a habitual gambler, and the court system forces him into doing community service, and he has to go coach this team in the inner city. And it's Michael B. Jordan's first movie as like a little kid.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
funny.
became really famous after that, but I had to throw that in there because it's a cool fun fact. Um,
It's on Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus. I can't watch it.
Man, it's probably on YouTube somewhere. You can just like rip it.
All right, I'll rip it.
Check that one. It's pretty good. The one little anecdote I'll note about this is that the guys from No Man's Land Pickleball on Twitter were kind of asking the community
NML.
about good.
The people call them NML. You gotta
Oh yeah,
get,
NML.
act
NML
act
Pickleball.
like you're in the know here.
I NML Pickleball at NML Pickleball. So they're asking if it's actually good for the sport, and they kind of took the side of not so good having these like celebrity endorsers. My opinion is that, and it just got brought up by the owner of Brooklyn Aces. He was on Squawk Box either this morning or yesterday discussing this, like a TV. It's a TV show about investments and stuff, and he just
Hmm.
mentioned that what it's going to do is likely help a lot with the publicity around the city. So in Brooklyn and New York, revolving their team and others. So I forgot the other one. So the Hustlers are there. So they're going to do like some exhibition kind of events with the Hustlers and the Brooklyn Aces. And I think that the celebrities might even show up to these, which will probably draw a big crowd that may not be that involved in pickleball already. So I think one, take the money for sure, as long as you're using the capital efficiently and effectively. And B, use their name to help promote your team and just the sport of pickleball. That's my opinion on it all.
Yeah,
You have any
that's
thoughts?
interesting. No, I mean the idea of like supporting a team, you know, like your local MLP team, and you know these guys may be making that easier or better, but just that idea in general is I feel like that's kind of a hard one for MLP because these people don't live in your city. Like it's hard to support your team. You don't go to like local events or to their arena or you know something like you do with the traditional professional sport. So it'll I wonder if they'll do anything to address that. Like they'll do it like say like exhibition matches or something where you could build an affiliation with your team, even though they don't like live there. You just watch them compete, you know, in other places. It's like building that connection with your hometown team, or if you'll people will still just follow players because right now people just follow players. And I
Yep,
cheer for the teams that have the players I like, not for the teams that are within, you know, my vicinity or whatever. But that I think that's a challenge that they'll have to face in order, like, if they want to boost, you know, shirts, hat sales, and all that stuff.
I agree. Maybe we'll save it for another day. But I had this idea that's not fully fleshed out, of course. But I wonder if they would ever consider flipping the script on the MLP teams and do it more like F1. So F1 is not about cities, it's about sponsors. So there's Team Mercedes, Team Ferrari.
Oh, interesting.
So like imagine if there was a team Volair, a team Pickleball Effect, a team I don't know like
Or
it was
whatever. Yeah,
yeah, it's Team Selkirk, right? And so it's yes about selling the merch and having people on your team and selling your brand, um, but you don't have to really care where they're from. You just care
yeah.
about the people who are playing for them.
That makes more sense to me in this scenario, like rather than the city approach. Logan,
We'll see.
they need to hire you.
Hey,
That confirmed it.
call me up. Put my number down here. All right, let's move on. So, all right, so oh yeah, the APP. So APP secured a broadcast deal in China. And I'm not really sure the details of this yet because it's brand new news, but I'll be really curious to learn more about. I know why. There's a lot of eyeballs. Like the how, like what time is it in China when these APP tournaments are happening? Is it like a delayed broadcast? Is it,
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be live. I wouldn't think.
I don't know. I don't know what time. I think, isn't China like,
Is pickleball a thing there?
maybe it's not. Maybe this, I think that's the part of the deal. Maybe China wants to get
Trying to
in
promote the sport.
on pickleball, promote the sport. I think their government also controls a lot of television anyway. It's not as free as we are, where you can just watch whatever you want. So this could be a part of like a deal with their government to like they think pickleball will help the community and be a good a
Hmm.
part of it, and so this could be a promotion for the sport in general as well. Um, and
Well,
countries like that also
this,
like invest in their players. So if they want
yeah,
to try to like bring people up into the sport and have a pro Chinese player to come to the States and really be integrated, this is probably an easy step one.
man, yeah. Can you imagine if the sport blew up there?
I mean,
That would make the sport itself worth a lot more, and
yep.
confirms my decision to not sell paddles anymore because I didn't ship outside of the States. But now that I do the affiliate thing, the companies they'll ship outside the States, and then
Absolutely.
I could still sell to people in China.
I think you're doing the most efficient thing. You're making a
Yes.
good, smart media decision here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Um, all right, so Riley Newman, I think the big news a couple weeks ago was that he announced his new partnerships for doubles. So if you missed the news, he is going to be splitting time the rest of the season with Julian Arnold, who just won MLP, and splitting time with AJ Kohler, who was a partner of his a couple years ago, and they had some success. So I think just the big news now is that what you've seen in the past, if you've been following pro pickleball, Riley Newman and Matt Wright are almost always playing the Johns brothers in the finals of any PPA event. That duo is now gone. So what will happen? And will Riley be able to trump the success he had with Matt, which the success he had was 27 tournaments together, 27 medals, and two golds maybe in that entire time. Maybe it was one gold. So he's going to have to figure out. I think his struggle right now is, can I change up my partner and go get gold against the Johns brothers? So
So he's split between two. Which one is he playing with in Seattle?
Julian should be Seattle. Yeah.
So Julian Seattle, and then I saw that Matt Wright is playing with the Villiers. So
Yep.
I don't think Matt's come out and said, "Oh, these are my new partners." He'll probably just you know switch in
I think he'll
between a
flip
bunch of
around a
different.
bit.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be consistent with Riley. Him and Julian. Bring Julian brings a lot of firepower, much different style than what Wright was doing. And Julian beat Ben in the super final, right?
Yep. Yeah, with Tyler. No, not Tyler. Again, it was against Tyler and Ben.
He was
And
with
Thomas
Thomas.
Wilson was his partner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see too. I mean, Matt Wright, I can't really tell. Although I can see him getting fiery on the court on TV, I'm not sure if he's the true alpha. So I wonder if he'll like pick a permanent partner that can be the alpha, or if he wants to be the alpha and he'll pick somebody else to kind of follow his lead. I'm not sure what his
Yeah,
vibe
it'll be
is.
interesting. Yeah, if I mean, playing on the left, you have to cover a lot of court, and he's not getting any younger, and so that's got to be a question. You have to consider Jay. So he's playing with Villiers. He's a left sider, so I imagine Jay will be left, Matt will be right, and I would think he'd play more right side moving forward. I mean, he's still a phenomenal player. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll kind of be interesting to see what Matt does. Like he'll go upset some teams with whoever he's playing with, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I mean,
But he
speaking of,
still has a lot of success in mixed. Like when he plays with Lucy, they made the finals in Denver. He was on the left side, obviously, and so I mean, he can still play that side.
yeah, really good player. I mean, I'm also interested to see what happens in mix too, right? Because it's the Ben Johns and ALW show, and who's going to be playing for second place, or going up against them right in the championship. Who's it going to be?
Yeah, yeah. Mixed in particular, like I feel like somebody could beat the Johns potentially, but I don't see anyone beating Ben and Annalee. Like that's just a done deal almost every week.
Hmm.
Especially
I
when
think I'm in
Annalee gets her
agreement.
new paddle. Whenever that happens,
I don't know,
she's
the
gonna.
Beer City Open sponsored by Paddle Tech, and they've got a nice brand new commercial with her. So I don't,
Oh, I do that.
yeah,
Shoot.
don't know if she's switching anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm. They got to come out with a new paddle soon. Like they just have to. I don't know. They've got that stuff published. Like they've gotten a couple approved, but we haven't seen any marketing or announcements on new things coming out. Even if they just came out with like a simple raw carbon paddle, like Anna Lee would be better.
I believe it. I believe it. I would agree. I'm not sure. I you need to contact them and just you need to find out for the record. Let's publish it on the pod. Let's find out what the heck they're doing and why they're dragging their feet.
Yeah, I don't
Let's
know.
get him on the record. Let's get their like head of dev on this, head of product here. Let's bring him on the podcast.
What are you doing? Tell
Tell
us.
us. Tell us. Yeah, that'd be
We
good.
really should get some brands on the pod though. I've done some interviews with some brands in the past, and it's interesting. It's a different take to see, and it's fun to see what they're planning for the future. We'll have to do that.
Yeah. All right. And I also think another cool thing, I mean, leave it in the comments, like what you'd want to see. There's clearly a lot of content right now around pickleball, and I've been like racking my brain about cool ways that we could create content that's a bit differentiated. And one of them is that maybe we could tell interesting come up stories from maybe not even come up stories, just interesting stories about pickleball from years past to today, because a lot of these players that are on the tour have been around for years and years and years. And I think there's so many new fans that if we could like tell the stories of life on the road from 5 years ago and describing what it is today, I think that could be a fun story. Because I kind of uncovered that a little bit with Jack Monroe, and I didn't realize that like Ben Johns and Colin Johns were sleeping in his living room at his parents' house when he was 12. And like, just, I know we probably won't get those guys on maybe, but just hearing about the days of old and to like what it is today could be a really cool story, because 5 years from now, it's going to be even next level than that. So
Yeah, yeah, we'll get some people. Yeah, dude, looking for the future. I think that signs it out for us though.
yeah, very cool. I'll throw in if you subscribe to my newsletter at all, and maybe I'll and Braden's as well. I'm gonna throw a couple of links in there that probably aren't um they're not, maybe they're too like NSFW for this podcast. But
Dude,
they're both pickleball
should I
related.
know what that means?
Not safe for work. Um
I'm too old. I'm out of the loop. I don't know
there's a
these
great
things.
little clip that I definitely want people to see. It's I don't want to put anybody down, and I don't want to be part of the rumor mill regarding Ben Johns that kind of came out this past week. And so I'll put it in my newsletter because I don't care. And then Zane Navratil has his hot take on, he had a hot take this week that pro players shouldn't be struggling for money. If you're a pro, you should be able to find unique and easy ways, like giving lessons to make your living. And it stirred up the pot a lot. So I'll throw those in the newsletters. People can
Sweet. Yeah, go
dive
subscribe.
in.
Sunday Dinking Club. I'll put the link in the description for people. They'll
Nice.
send them your way.
Appreciate that.
All right, dude. Thanks for
All right,
hopping on.
everybody. Till
We'll see
next
everyone
time.
later. Bye.
Woohoo!